Welcome to my latest mock draft. Please play along and post your picks in the comments section. Pick number 1 is Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC. It's no real question, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. While pick 1 is a no-brainer, pick number 2, while it will be a quarterback question, is which one. In my opinion, the upside of Drake May is too enticing to pass up, but I have been hearing Jaden Daniels as a possibility. In the end, I think Washington, with the second pick in the draft, will take Drake May, quarterback out of North Carolina. Starting at pick 3, I will start to call this the Minnesota watch. The Vikings traded back into the first round and have picks 11 and 23, and will use these 2 picks to trade up for a quarterback, but where they will trade up is a mystery. In my opinion, it will be somewhere between picks 3 through 5. Now, there are no trades in this mock draft, so here New England will take their quarterback. I had Jaden Daniels rated much higher, but just a hunch, the Patriots like Michigan quarterbacks because the last one worked out okay. Pick number 3 will be J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan. In a recent scientific study, it has been proven asteroids hit subscribers 690% less than non-subscribers. Don't get hit by an asteroid. Instead, hit that subscribe button and stay safe from asteroids during draft season. Again, Arizona at 4 could trade down with Minnesota, but I have a hard time believing Arizona doesn't take their top-rated wide receiver here. Pick number 4 is Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver out of Ohio State. The Chargers are the most likely team in the top 5 to trade down, not only because they have a new head coach and want to rebuild their roster, but because Denver at 12 and Vegas at 13 are aggressive teams and both are desperate for a quarterback. So instead of a divisional rival getting Daniels, a trade down to allow Minnesota to get their quarterback is the most likely scenario here. But in this mock draft, no trades. So the Chargers at pick number 5 go Joe Alt, tackle out of Notre Dame. For the Giants, I keep hearing rumors of a quarterback or a possible trade down. Don't buy it. They tap back into the LSU wide receiver pool, and with the 6th pick in the draft, the Giants select Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. I have been mocking Rome Odunze to the Titans, and I still want to, but offensive line is the bigger need despite adding some pieces in free agency. Plus, they did give Ridley $92 million. Now, most big boards have Fuega rated higher, but I think they take the guy with experience at left tackle, and he will be the day 1 starter on the blind side. With the 7th pick in the draft, the Titans select Olu Fasanu, left tackle out of Penn State. This is the dream scenario for the Falcons. You get your biggest position of need with the best player on the board. So with the 8th pick in the draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Dallas Turner, outside linebacker out of Alabama. I really struggled with what the Bears will do at 9. They could easily trade down. I also firmly believe they can go offensive line or defensive line. However, I got the Bears just taking the best player on the board. With the 9th pick in the draft, the Bears select Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of Washington. Now, I'm going to defend this pick just a bit here. I know you traded for Keenan Allen and you have DJ Moore, but Odunze becomes wide receiver number 3 immediately, and Allen turns 33 in a month and has only played 1 full season out of the last 4 years. In this mock, Bears just go best player available. I think the Jets could get creative at 10, but ultimately you've got to improve the O-line. Even with the trade for Moses and signing Tyron Smith, the Jets will take the best offensive lineman available. I got the Jets taking Talise Fuega, tackle out of Oregon State. When everything is said and done, the Vikings won't hold the 11th pick in the draft, but in this mock, the Vikings stay and still get their quarterback. Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU, but expect him to go before pick 11. Denver at 12, I 100% believe will try and trade up, but I believe they simply just won't be able to. In my previous mock, I had them trading down and getting their quarterback later in the draft. While I believe Denver will draft a quarterback, I don't think the pick will be at 12. No trades in this mock, so the Broncos with the 12th pick select Bo Nix, quarterback out of Oregon. For Vegas, I really want to go Michael Penix Jr. here at 13, and I think he would be the day 1 starter at quarterback, but I firmly believe the Raiders will end up getting him later in the draft. The Raiders used the 13th pick to take J.C. Latham, tackle out of Alabama. The Saints are a tough one for me at pick number 14 because I think they can go in one of 2 different directions. Dolphins, I really want to give them an edge rusher. I really like Leatu Latu right here, but I'm going to go in another direction. With the 14th pick in the draft, I have the Saints taking Troy Fatuanu, tackle out of Washington. I was fully convinced the Colts would end up trading for L'Jarius Sneed instead of Tennessee and would use this pick elsewhere. Instead, they're going to wait till the draft to get their guy. With the 15th pick in the draft, the Colts will select Quinion Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. I fully expect the Seahawks at 16 to trade down, and I can see the Packers as an ideal trade candidate. In my previous video that I did with trades, I predicted a Seattle-Green Bay trade. Now, Seattle at 16 or later in the draft, I got them taking Peyton Wilson, linebacker out of NC State, but there are some medical issues that have to be cleared, and I am fully aware that Seattle did sign some free agent linebackers, but McDonald's defense dominated with the best pair of inside linebackers in the NFL. That's why I believe if medically cleared, Peyton Wilson will be Seattle's pick, whether at 16 or down the road. Jacksonville, after falling apart down the stretch, fired their defensive coordinator, and I firmly believe will use the 17th pick in the draft on defense. In my opinion, secondary is the weakest spot on this defense, which works perfectly in this draft because the best available defensive player is a defensive guy. With 17th pick in the draft, Jacksonville selects Terrion Arnold, corner out of Alabama. Cincinnati is in a position to take best player available, and I firmly believe that they are a team that could trade up in this draft, especially if they find someone they really like. Here, the Bengals just simply luck out, and with the 18th pick, they select Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. The Rams are a team I can see moving up or down draft day, and I think it's about 50-50 whether when the draft does come around that they'll be picking 19th, but there are no trades here, so I got the Rams selecting Leatu Latu, outside linebacker out of UCLA. The Steelers, I feel, are a prime candidate to trade down because I have them targeting a player you could probably get later than pick number 20. However, every single mock draft I've done has Pittsburgh taking this player, so maybe Pittsburgh stays at 20 and gets their guy. I have the Steelers selecting Jackson Powers Johnson, offensive lineman out of Oregon. Miami at 21, I feel, is a prime candidate to trade down, but I have a feeling if they like someone, they will take them right here, and in this mock, they do that. With pick number 21, Miami selects Jared Verse, outside linebacker out of Florida State. Philly here, I think it's a no-brainer after bringing in Vic Fangio, a guy who wants to play a lot of man defense. The best man cover corner is available. You got to make the pick. So with pick number 22, Philly selects Nate Wiggins, corner out of Clemson. When everything is said and done, Minnesota will not be picking 23rds, but there are no trades in this mock, so let's have some fun here. After selecting their quarterback earlier, this pick has to be on defense. So I got Minnesota selecting Byron Murphy, defensive lineman out of Texas. Dallas is next, and I firmly believe the Cowboys are a team looking to trade up in this draft. However, in this mock, they still get someone who will be a day one starter right at 24. I have the Cowboys selecting Tyler Guyton, tackle out of Oklahoma. I firmly believe that the Packers, when a day one starter on the offensive line, they will trade up and get one. They have an extra second and third round pick in this draft, and I believe Seattle at 16 is a perfect trading spot. However, without trades, with this selection, I believe that they go boom or bust here. So with the 25th pick in the draft, the Packers select Amarius Mims, tackle out of Georgia. Tampa at 26 is interesting, and I can see them moving up or down in the draft. However, I keep mocking the same thing because I think this is a player that should be long gone, and Tampa Bay could use some pass rush help. With the 26th pick in the draft, Tampa Bay selects Chop Robinson, outside linebacker out of Penn State. I don't believe Arizona will stay at 27, but if they do, I see them going defense, and they need help everywhere. Basically, you could just take best player available, and I believe that is Jerzon Newton, defensive lineman out of Illinois. Buffalo is another team that could trade down, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just stay pat and just take the best player available, which is what I have them doing here. Pick number 28, Buffalo selects Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. The last 2 years, Detroit has been one of the more entertaining teams on draft day. They made multiple moves in round one last year, and they traded with Minnesota of all teams in 2022 in the first round. So I'm hoping Detroit does something again this year, but if they don't, with the 29th pick in the draft, I like Detroit to take Cooper DeJean, defensive back out of Iowa. I'm calling him a DB instead of a corner because I think he could end up playing safety, but I expect Detroit to use him at corner. Baltimore just lucks out here. They could use help at corner. They love Bama players, and this guy should be long gone by now. Yep, the 30th pick in the draft is Kool-Aid McKinstry, corner out of Alabama. San Francisco at 31 could trade up if Brandon Ayuk ends up getting traded, something I'm hearing rumors about, but I really don't think it'll happen. If San Francisco stays at 31, I think they'll go with either secondary help or offensive line, and I predict it's offensive line. With pick number 31, I like San Francisco to take Graham Bartram, offensive lineman out of Duke. Save the best for last as Kansas City is up at 32. I firmly believe Kansas City could trade up in this draft to try to get someone who will help this year for the 3P, but at 32, I keep mocking the same player because he fits the same Chiefs blueprint. With the 32nd pick in the draft, Kansas City selects Darius Robinson, defensive lineman out of Missouri. I hope you enjoyed this mock draft. Drop a comment below and let me know what I got wrong. Don't forget, I go live every Tuesday and Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time on the live stream. All questions are answered and anything goes. Join the live stream and let me know what you think about the draft, your favorite team, or anything you want. Next Monday will be a 2-round mock draft with trades. So I'll see you again next Mock Draft Monday.